Hey everyone, it's Sowell here. This is gonna be my second speech, and I'm really excited about this one because I'm dedicating it to my grandma. So this is going to be about how she impacted my life. So it all starts when I was around the age of 7 or 8, I believe. Um, I lived in a house with my mom and my dad and my sister. And eventually my grandma moved in. And she was there for a little bit, but at the time I was really young and I didn't really understand what was going on in terms of like my house and my family, and I didn't really connect with anyone too much, but I loved playing with my dad and stuff like that, the usual. But eventually my mom and dad split up and they were going through the whole divorce process. And I was really confused as a kid because I didn't really understand what was going on. um, and I hated the fact that I couldn't really see my dad anymore and that we had to move away, and things were really awkward between me and the rest of my family. I also didn't really get to see my sister for a very long time, so it created this like complete split between us all, and I ended up just having to live with my grandmother and my mom out in some apartment way far away from where we used to be. And I was in a really bad spot because as a kid I was just so upset that I couldn't hang around with my father anymore, and that we didn't live in this big house anymore, and I had lost all my friends. So I was basically all alone over there. And my poor mom was she was going through a lot of emotional turmoil in terms of the divorce. It was really hard for her, and she also had to work really hard to provide for us financially. So she was working like two jobs at once, and I would only ever see her like once at night because she just had to come back and go to sleep and then wake up early in the morning to just repeat and go back to work again. So my grandma was there for me. And that was really important to me because I was at such a bad place, and she understood that I was going through a lot of emotions that I didn't understand, and that I had to learn a lot about life that I wasn't ready for. And she kind of served as a way to prepare me for everything. And she was there for me emotionally, and she understood that I was very emotional as a kid, and I would cry all the time about even such like minuscule things. But despite it, she was always there for me, and she understood that I was just really like passionate about my thoughts. Um, and she helped me. She helped me learn who I was really. Um, So I just remember being out there alone, coming back from school and having nothing much to do other than like homework or hanging around with my grandma. And that was my favorite thing. We would just sit there and watch like Spanish TV and like Spanish soap operas. And it was really funny hearing her rant all day long about these things. Or she would just be yelling at me saying I didn't clean the house right. And I would just find excuses to give her to kind of just tick her off. um, and I just love that because we would just form like this kind of bond, and we became like best friends. And she taught me such important things about life, like um, how to sustain myself as a person, not only just um, like physically, mentally, but even, you know, just financially, showing me how things would work in the real world, and also giving me like relationship advice and showing me that um, these things like the divorce and the split up with my mom and my dad, they're normal and they happen all the time, and that I had to just kind of accept it and move past it, and I couldn't let it hold me down as a person. So she really helped me understand that and understand the rest of the world around me. um, and yeah, it was a really important thing for me to learn at such a young age when I was forced to have to understand, kind of just learn everything. And I don't, if she wasn't there to teach me all the things that she did, I don't know how I would have done it really. Um, she was really important in that part. Um, and after that, we ended up moving to Van Nuys, and it was once again me, my mom, and my grandma. Um, and we were here, and things, they start to recuperate with the family, and I start to see my dad a little bit more, and I eventually see my sister, and she comes move in with us too. Um, and that's when I realized that like everything that I became and all the values I held as a person, they all just stemmed from my grandma, because there was three main values that she held that she would just kind of teach me and siphon off to me. And it was really honesty, trust, and kindness. And those three were the most important things to me because they were the most important things to her. Um, Trusting someone right and learning that trust can be such an important part in making friends and becoming great people together in the world. That was important. She was a very honest lady, brutally honest about things. Um, so honest sometimes it came off as rude, but I really appreciated that. I admired it. Um, and finally, kindness. That selflessness that she had. Um, she would just every time she possibly could give, she always gave, no matter what, and in any kind of way, emotionally, um, financially, whatever she could do. If she could do it, she would give it, and that became one of my biggest values too. And yeah, it just shows that she just had such a strong impact on me and who I became as a person. And she passed away last year, so rest in peace. But despite it all, she left behind such an important spirit to me, and I carry it with me every day in my heart. So I owe it all to her. And yeah, that's really why she's one of the most important people in my life. Thank you for listening to my speech.